Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, we're going to do something. This is going to be a little bit of a project. You're going to have to kind of work along with me. And you are going to need a metronome. Now, yours doesn't have to be like a by itself metronome. If you have a phone, a smartphone, there are free apps where you can just download them and you have a metronome on your phone. You can literally go to Google and type like 100 BPM metronome and it'll just put one on the screen. Just right there in front of you. It's not hard to find a metronome. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to prove something to you through this little exercise. It's a little bit tricky, me not being in the same room with you. I can't force you to do it correctly. But I'm going to kind of prove to you today that your speed, how fast you can play, is not a matter of how fast you can move your fingers. It actually has very little to do with how fast you can move your fingers. Or rather, I should say, your fingers are way faster already than you need them to be, in all likelihood. But in fact, has everything to do with the fact that you can't count. Or more importantly, to be more specific, you cannot subdivide. So I have done this with literally hundreds of private students over the years. It has never failed. In every instance, it shines a glaring light on exactly why you can't play faster. So I'm going to show you how to determine this for yourself really quick, and then I'm going to show you how to speed it up. So I'm going to turn on my metronome. What we're going to do here, I'm going to set the tempo, and I'm just going to kind of make some guesses. You'll obviously have to make some guesses for yourself. I'm going to start at 88 beats a minute. Mine goes in groups of 4 for whatever reason. So here is, let's see, if I turn the sound on, there goes my metronome at 88 beats per minute. Nothing fancy at all, right? It's just beeping away. You can probably hear it. So what I'm going to do is take a very simple thing. Let's use good old box 1. I want to play straight 8th notes, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Now, if you can't do that yet, then we're not really ready for this. You can stop now and not really move on. I'm assuming that you're going to be able to do this at a fairly comfortable speed, potentially up around 120, 130, 140, maybe 150, 160 even, okay? So let's say that I get, so what you do, if you get it at 88, bump it up a couple. So go to 100, try it at 100, right? Oh, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? And, you know, like I duplicate the top note. Doesn't matter if you double the top note or not. Don't care. And then I'd bump it up to like 110 and then like 120. And then, okay, so let's say you get up to 160. Let's just for the sake of argument, you may only get to 120, you may only get to 130, whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's go with 160 because the math is easy. So 160 straight 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, again, nothing major, right? So we're just playing straight 8th notes. Let's say you can play it at 160. In fact, let's say you can only play it at 140. What happens if you cut 140 in half? You get 70, right? So if I bring the tempo down to 70, but instead of playing 8th notes, I'm going to play 16th notes. I'm going to subdivide 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Okay? It's the exact same speed. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Okay, so that right there at, well, in this case, 69, because for whatever reason my metronome is kind of weird, but is the exact same as playing 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Same finger speed. Okay, there's no difference. However, 999 out of 1,000 of you will not be able to do it in 16th notes at 70 beats a minute, even if you can do it no problem in 8th notes at 140 beats a minute. Why? Because your ear can't subdivide the beats. So it's clearly not finger speed. The finger speed is no faster doing 16th notes at 70 beats a minute than it is doing 8th notes at 140 beats a minute. It's the exact same speed. So if you can play it dividing in 8th notes, why can't you play it dividing in 16th notes? The only thing left is that your ear drives. Your ear has to tell your fingers where to go. Your ear can't subdivide 16th notes. That's where you're stuck. Okay? The same thing happens with triplets a lot. The division's a little different. Let's say you can play, let's take 120, right? So if you can do 120 in straight 8th notes, which is dividing in half, that's the same as 90, I think, or 80. That's the same as 80 divided into thirds, right? Yeah. So 2/3 is roughly the same. So if I go, let's say I'm doing 120, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? So that's straight 8th notes. If I bring it down to 80, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and same finger speed. But again, you would be amazed. Again, probably 999 out of 1,000 people who walk in my door can't do that. That is why you can't play as fast as you think you should be able to. It's nothing to do with your finger speed. Again, obviously, the finger speed's the same. If you can play it counting straight 8th notes, but you can't play it at 2/3 the speed with triplet 8s, the count's the only potential problem. Your ear drives the bus. It tells your fingers when to move and how fast. So if your ear's not hearing it, if your brain's not subdividing it, it doesn't matter how fast your fingers go, they're still going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's no getting around that, okay? So I hope you will try this for yourself. Now I do have courses that work on this sort of speed building thing. I have one called Blues Speed Building Blocks. That's very it's intent with the triplets and with a lot of classic blues licks, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Albert King, B.B. King, that sort of style. It's those types of licks, but counting is a big element, and the speed goes up incrementally. So it's a good thing for that sort of thing. But no matter what, you have to know that this is your issue. Until you sort of accept that this is your issue, the likelihood is that you're going to continue just practicing scales to a metronome, which is fine, but it isn't going to subdivide the beats the way that you need to. Okay, unless you take it upon yourself to subdivide the beats. And yes, you can play pentatonic scales. You could just play the scales up and down, but those are not blues licks, right? So there comes a time when you have to make the leap from just playing pentatonic scales to actually playing blues licks that have 8th notes and 16th notes and triplets and all of these things in there. And you have to get to where you can count that stuff. So I hope you'll take a little time and try this for yourself. It can be a little bit humbling. I won't warn you, but it's a great exercise, and I hope you'll try it for yourself. All right? So as always, I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.